What's up, folks? This is Dan from Discern. Welcome to episode number 13 of the Discern Recap. This is it, folks. This is it. Episode 13. That haunted number or something. So I'm probably going to croak before this is over. On this show, each week, I present you with my hand-picked recommendations of new albums, EPs, or singles from the broad category of Christian music. Every Wednesday, I release a new episode of this show, a fresh batch of new recommendations for you. If you feel so inclined, please subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you as part of this community. If you have something to say to contribute to the discussion so it's not so one-sided, you can comment below. You could tweet at me at discernreviews. You could send me an email, discernreviews@gmail.com. I had a very busy weekend, which is usually prime music listening time for me. So thankfully for me, there weren't a ton of new releases this week. Or I should say last week. Maybe a good handful of artists just don't want to release their music on April Fool's Day. I don't understand why not. So this episode's sort of a small one, 2 singles to recommend. Let's get into it. First one, Need to Breathe with the single Money and Fame. Need to Breathe is not usually a band I come running to, eager to hear what new music they're dropping. In the past, I've been sort of bored to death by how overly commercial and focus-tested their music can sound. On some level, that's just my inner hipster talking. These guys are too successful to actually make good music. Of course, that's foolishness. That's not an absolute truism. If you don't know much about Need to Breathe, here's a little background info. They're from South Carolina. They've been a band since the early 2000s, formed by 2 brothers, Bo and Bear Reinhardt. Not their birth names, silly. And they play in a pretty popular genre these days, alternative rock, southern rock, with a heavy dose of pop influence. They're no strangers to pop. Commercial hits, like Something Beautiful, which they had, equally catchy and short-lived. I definitely remember playing that song over and over when it came out, and then I quickly moved on, after a week. Just not a lot of emotional effect, not a lot of staying power. Well, they did it again here, Money and Fame. They actually dropped 2 singles on April 1st, this track as well as Happiness, which is a pretty snazzy track as well, but not quite, as much of a pop right hook as this one. Money and Fame is the type of track you just smash the play button over and over again for. It's a very well-crafted pop song. It's catchy, has rich, expressive vocals, unforgettable, infectious melodies. It's got rhythmic swagger spilling out of every corner of this track. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard a song decrying the glories of money and fame that has this much swagger. Lots of humble brags here, Let me sit you down and tell me about how successful I am and how much of a detriment that can be. Like I've made a lot of money, so much, They certainly aren't losing any money or fame from this hit. Not like that was the intent. This song is just structured well, too, from the energy and the dynamics, just second by second, of the overall arrangement. It just comes together really neat and tidy. And I love the horns that carry the hook. Simple, tasteful, powerful horn section. The saxophone solo that comes in at the end. Nice touch as well. There's a lot of confidence and bravado from the horns and the sax in this song. Lyrically, I don't think Need to Breathe is being disingenuous. They're speaking to a fact that the writer of the book of Ecclesiastes, powerful, handsome, wealthy, and wise Solomon, something he knew very well. It's a territory that many have seen with firsthand experience or only in parables. I think this song does a good job of rehashing a familiar understanding with lyrics that stick in your head and are phrased just differently enough to keep them from slipping by you. If you remember, one thing from this song, it's undoubtedly that money and fame bring a man shame, ain't no doubt about it. If you're hoping for more tunes like this from Need to Breathe, I'm guessing they'll be dropping more singles in the months ahead, but their next full-length album is slated for July 15th, so sit tight, folks. It'll be a while. Next single, Street Hymns, 9 Grand. Street Hymns is Mitchell West, a rapper from Grand Prairie, Texas. He's pretty open about being a suburban rapper. He's not immersed in gritty street life. That's not his background, that's not his life. But I think he embraces who he is. He's not trying to be anything that he's not. And I think that comes through in his music. He's more laid back than in your face. It's more easygoing than going hard. This single, 9 Grand, is a single coming off his upcoming project, which drops very soon. The first thing that catches you about this track is obviously the Dragon Ball Z sample right at the very beginning, the classic "Over 9,000," which is, more related to the meme these days than actually Dragon Ball Z. It made me laugh, immediately endeared me to this guy. It's a dorky thing to do. I loved it. Then the instrumental kicks in, dreamy, sleepy, sort of dragging its feet a little bit. There's a shimmery, cool synth sound that's sort of like when you run your finger on a glass and, it softly hums and sings. The bass beat, the bass and the beat, I should say, hold the track down. You're just grooving it forward, slow and steady. The flow, actually, is probably the most mobile and dynamic part of the song. His vocal delivery is basically double time over this slow, relaxed beat, which I think really accentuates how rhythmic it is. His vocals basically take the role of hi-hats in this trap beat. I mean, even as you listen to the mix, the hi-hats sort of take a back seat to his vocals in the verse, and they pop back in a little more prominent in the hook, and then next verse they slink back into the background again. I just thought it was a pretty cool feel, with that interplay between his vocal feel and the beat. Lyrically, you gotta love how smooth and self-assured he is about his top-level game while he drops in such a direct Dragon Ball Z reference as the hook. It's tongue-in-cheek, but it works on a deeper, more artistic level, I think, as well. And in the second verse, he spins you around and around with these back and forth, ever-changing references and uses of the words key, rock, grand. I mean, he just drags you around, sharply turning here and there. It's like it's up to you to keep up with him. Very clever lyricism on that verse. This track, I love the overall groove, the tone of this track. Definitely looking forward to hearing more from his full project, Slow and Steady, which drops in just under a week, April 11th, actually. So check out this single, link in the description. And that is it, folks. That is it, the end of this week's show. Thank you for watching the Discern Recap. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. That's the best way for you to stay connected, to make sure you don't miss any new episodes, which release every Wednesday. Each week, more new music recommendations for you to check out. If you have a specific album, EP, or single that you've had on heavy repeat, make your voice heard. Share it with the rest of us. You could comment below this video. You could tweet at me, at discernreviews. You could send me an email, discernreviews@gmail.com. Of the 2 singles I mentioned, have you listened to either one? If not, you can click the link below in the description box. Check them out, give them a listen. Come on back to this video. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I hope this helped. See ya.